Sorry to keep you guys waiting, but here is my review of the much hyped The Avengers, which I saw almost a month ago. Wow. The Avengers is, well, do I even need to tell you what it's about? Okay, well, I will anyway. It's not this Avengers, although I have heard this Avengers is quite good. I should probably check it out sometime. Yeah, I've had to explain it to my dad countless times. It's not that 1960s Avengers. But it has been in the making for, or at least been setting up for about 5 years now, with set-up movies for most of the Avengers. But this is a movie where Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and the Hulk join up to make one ultimate team of superheroes and fight against Loki, Thor's brother, and stop him from taking over and ruling the world with his alien-type creatures. And yeah, it's a really good movie. But first, a rundown of what I thought of the build-up films. Iron Man, I loved. The only superhero movie within the last 5 years that I gave a 5 out of 5. It was my favourite movie of 2008 once the year ended, but then I found 3 movies that I liked more. Those being Taken, WALL-E, and The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. The Incredible Hulk, I didn't even bother with because I thought the original 2003 Hulk was just fine. Just another unnecessary remake. Iron Man 2 I thought was underwhelming and just felt pointless, but still pretty good. 3.5. I actually really liked Thor. I gave it a 4 out of 5. And yeah, it was better than I expected. Captain America I only saw a week prior to seeing The Avengers. I missed it at the cinema, but it is roundabout on the same level as Iron Man 2. The main problem with it though was that it felt like it was just there so they could have all the Avenger lead-ups. Another 3.5. With a movie as big as this, you cannot make it bad. And you have to make sure that you book in a good director. Thank goodness we have a good one. Joss Whedon does an amazing job directing this film, especially action-wise. My goodness, is the action delivered here orgasmic. By far the best action in a movie this year so far, and probably for the rest of the year too. It is on a huge scale, larger than life, and mind-blowing how much destruction can go down in this town. And the camera can stay still. It puts John Carter to shame. Joss Whedon knows that nothing is too ridiculous. Hell, there's this one snake-like alien ship that, well, it's alive. And that would be stupid in anything else, and it is stupid. But here in The Avengers, it is made epic. And for a superhero movie, this is an ace cast. Tom Hiddleston was okay in Thor, but here he is an amazing villain. He was very menacing. Much more menacing than some of the villains we've had in movies recently. Do I even need to tell you how good Robert Downey Jr. was as Tony Stark / Iron Man? He is just as awesome this time round as he was in the first 2 Iron Man movies. He is just so convincing as a character. In a way, he is the character. And I also think that Chris Hemsworth has a good future in acting ahead of him. And Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, just awesome. Kind of leading on from that a bit, the characters were mostly well presented here, except Captain America, who was likeable in last year's movie, but here he is just a whiny brat. But Bruce Banner by himself, and not the Hulk, was a really likeable character, and I liked the moments when he was on screen, but when the Hulk was unleashed, it was worth the wait. It was awesome and amazing. Hawkeye had a nice introduction, and Black Widow was fleshed out really well, unlike in Iron Man 2, where she was just there to provide T&A. But here she was in the movie a lot, more than I expected. Probably because she was going to get her own lead-up movie, and she was actually a really good character, and I could care for her. Also, it was good to see some attempts at humour here. There wasn't too much, but when it was there, it got the audience laughing, and when those quick witty lines or timed actions are thrown in there, it is really well done. My main problem with this movie is not the problem most people have with it, which is that it is slow and rather boring for the first hour or so. I actually thought it was constantly entertaining throughout. In fact, I have two things that trouble me with this film. But first off, this movie is really forgettable. Not something a lot of people have been saying, but that is because everyone reviewing it says these things minutes after seeing the film. Honestly, I saw this movie at 3:15 in the afternoon, but in the later hours of the day, when I was about to go to bed, it felt like it had been at least a week after I had seen it. Because it was already escaping my mind. Action scenes I couldn't remember. Funny lines were completely gone. And even some of the huge reveals I had trouble remembering. Since this movie is huge and everyone is talking about it, it is hard to ignore. But within days, almost all of it was out of my mind. I thought Lacuna Inc. was playing a prank on me, as I had seen that movie just a few days beforehand. Also, this movie is not as intelligent as it could have been, and I hoped it would have been. I mean, yeah, we have that little light box from another galaxy that isn't really explained well and was shown in Captain America in the post-credits scene of Thor. Yeah, that was kind of clever. But they still don't do much with it, or at least explain it better. For a winter blockbuster to stand out as one of the better ones, then it needs to be a little more intelligent, like my third favourite film of last year, Source Code. This, however, for the last act especially, just feels loud, dumb, and generic. Come on! This had the potential to be a smarter and slightly more original superhero movie, but instead, mainly for the last third, to me, feels as stupid as Transformers 3. Yep, bring on the hate, bring on the hate. On the 3D side of things, I was going to see it in 2D, but the cinema I wanted to see it at was only showing it in 3D. And I can say that it did a really good job of not darkening down the image, but for the most part, it is unnecessary. Although, in the last third, there are a few cool 3D shots and look quite a bit cooler and enhanced in 3D. For the one-sentence review, The Avengers is a film with insane hype, and after 4 years of waiting, I can happily say that I came 9 times while watching this movie. 4.5 out of 5 stars, although after time it will probably drop down to a 4. A week after I saw The Avengers, I saw A Separation. So I shall give a quick brief review on that because I want to. You may or may not remember that back in February, This movie won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film and was also nominated for Best Original Screenplay. After seeing the movie, I can say that it deserved that award and nominations. It is very clear why this got a Best Original Screenplay nomination, because this film pulls you in with the dialogue so much. That is all it really has to hold on to. And it keeps you interested throughout. It's pretty powerful, and you find yourself caring for these characters because they are all flawed but likeable people. So many twists and turns in the movie that they are very big reveals, and it happens a lot. By far the best thing, it is intense. It manages to make so much intensity out of so little. Honestly, when a big reveal happens, or the truth is about to be told in this movie, it is 50 times more intense than when the boss was killing off his staff one by one in Sucker Punch. And I liked the use of music. Nothing! No music whatsoever, and that allowed me to focus on the film more and made every little line more intense and effective. Right now it is a 4.5 out of 5 and is right below The Descendants on my best of the year, but I think that by the time the year ends, it might be a 5. So if you have already seen The Avengers and want something else to see at the movies, I would highly recommend a separation. And also, if you want to see my review of Margaret, the written review is on my blog, so I'll post the link in the description down below. I can tell you now, I will not be doing a video review for it, so that's all you've got. And yeah, International Towel Day. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm Thomas, and that's a review.